That day, I accidentally heard the child in my belly mocking my daughter, saying she was a worthless burden, and that when she grew up, he would trade her for bride price. Before I could react, my daughter had already heard it. Before I could explain, she ran out with red eyes and got into a car accident. On the way, she lay in a pool of blood with her life unknown. I completely broke down. But before I could recover, the child in my belly started causing trouble again in front of my husband. He accused me of cheating, saying this child was not my husband's. My husband's face instantly turned fierce. He did not listen to a single explanation and directly asked for a divorce, then turned around and married my doctor best friend under the repeated blows. I went into premature labor with severe bleeding until the moment I closed my eyes. I could not understand why the child I tried so hard to protect insisted on pushing me to death. When I opened my eyes again, I was reborn back to the day. I was told at the hospital that I was pregnant again. My daughter excitedly came over, saying she wanted to hear her brother's voice. But the next second, the child in my belly said the exact same words as in the previous life. My heart tightened suddenly. I immediately covered my daughter's ears, forced myself to stay calm, and told her not to overthink. Then I looked up calmly and said, I do not want this child anymore. My husband froze and my best friend was even more shocked. Before I could explain, the child in my belly started crying and accusing me again. He said I was cruel and wanted to kill him to cover up my affair. I watched my husband's face grow darker and darker, and immediately suggested a paternity test. My best friend quickly said their hospital could do it. I knew her real intention too well, so I refused in the name of avoiding suspicion. Unexpectedly, the child bit back again, saying I had already bribed the agency, and the result would definitely favor me. I simply nodded and agreed to let my best friend do the test. But it had to be fully supervised and transparent. 2 hours later, the results came out. The child was indeed my husband's, and my husband gradually let go of his doubts. I thought I had already changed my fate, but at that moment, the child spoke again, publicly accusing me of bribing my best friend and tampering with the report. Then he said something even more vicious, saying the person who saved my husband back then was not me at all, but my best friend. I was shaking with anger, never expecting him to make up such lies just to frame me. I tried my best to explain, but my husband was furious. He pushed me hard to the ground. Severe pain came from my abdomen. Signs of miscarriage appeared, and he proposed divorce on the spot. Just like that, I was pushed into the operating room. 1 hour later, I woke up from the surgery. The nurse told me the child was saved. She handed me a cup of warm water. At that moment, I finally understood why I could hear him speaking.